Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Milan Save on Football Manager 2023. Now, since the last episode where we lost to Atletico Madrid quite heavily and then beat Hapoel Beersheva in our other Champions League game, we've played two Serie A games off camera against Lazio and Juve. So let's take a look at how we did in those games. So in the first game against Lazio away from home, it was very, very disappointing. We lost 1-0. We didn't play very well at all, really, and deserved to get beaten in the end. Lazio were 13th or 14th in the table heading into this one. We were, of course, 6th. So this just helped Lazio climb the table. But then I switched a few player rules around. So Sesko, off the top of my head, was now playing as an advanced forward rather than target man. Benesa and Gravenberch swapped roles. So Gravenberch was the deep line playmaker. Benesa was a ball winning midfielder. For some reason, I don't know why I had Gravenberch as a ball-winning midfielder. His tackling is 9 compared to Benesa's 15. So it just makes more sense for Benesa to be the ball-winning midfielder. I don't know what I was thinking. But it seemed to work because Rooney Bargi, after less than a minute of the game, pounced on a poor defensive clearance to score what was pretty much an open goal from the edge of the box because the keeper had come out to collect the ball as well. It was just defensive errors everywhere from Juve for this opening goal. Bargi with an excellent finish into the open net, but still managed to open the scoring for us. And then early in the second half, Charles Ketelea scored a penalty to double our lead, and then Hudson-Odoi, who came off the bench for Rafa Leao a little bit through the second half, he managed to score a tap-in the 90th minute and give us a 3-0 victory against a team who were, I believe, top of the table heading into this game. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the player rule changes have helped us that much, but we will see in today's episode. And in today's episode, we have two Champions League games against Dortmund and RB Leipzig. In the gap between those games, we've also got some league games which are play off camera against Monza, Napoli and Fiorentina. You'll notice, thank the Lord, the name fix has finally worked. Napoli are called Napoli. They aren't Parthenope anymore. Monza aren't Brianza anymore. We have the proper names, which it's a little thing, but it really takes away from things when the names are wrong. I don't know if you are the same as me with that. So just taking a look at how Dortmund are doing domestically, and they're doing quite well. They are top of the Bundesliga. They have not lost a game yet. They are 4 points clear. They've drawn 2-2 with Bayern and beaten Union Berlin 4-1 in the last two games. Bayern not doing too great currently in the Bundesliga. It's a bit of a shock. I've not actually been keeping up to date with the other leagues that much, but Bayern actually, for the first time in however many years, since 2013, the first time in like 11 years, 12 years? 12 years. They didn't win Bundesliga last year. Red Bull Leipzig did. So the tide is turning in the Bundesliga, it seems. So just taking a look at how Dortmund have done in the Champions League so far. They started things off with a disappointing, I would say, 1-1 draw against Porto. Got smashed 5-0 by PSG. Then smashed both Sporting and Real Betis by 6-0 and 5-0 respectively. So they've had two of their easier games in their past two games. This is going to be a tough one for us. Another tough one. Obviously, the Leipzig game will also be tough. So we really need to get, and like I said last episode, we need to get a win in at least one of the two matches in this episode. You'll see that we are currently 21st, as we were at the end of the last episode, but we are only 2 points off 8th placed Villarreal. It is still all to play for after just 4 games gone. Still another 4 games to go. So hopefully we can pick up a positive result in today's game against Dortmund. Looking at other big ties in this match day, and there seems to be quite a few. Just looking at it, you've got Ajax Benfica, which is a pretty big one historically, I would say. Barcelona, Liverpool, Chelsea, PSG. Jablonec have maybe a more winnable game than they've had the entire Champions League so far against Freiburg. Juve Atletico is a big one. Napoli Villarreal, meh. Real Madrid Bayern as well. They're just all kicking off here. Wolves have got Olympiacos as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they do against them. Wolves are a surprise package in the Champions League this season, I have to say. So we have an injury to update you on. Divine Wrench, who of course returned after a long-term injury in the last episode. He's out injured again. He's out for 2 months. Torn abdominal muscles in training, so that's not great. But thankfully, we do have Alessandro Zanoli fully fit, so he will be starting with us today. Mike Mignon, obviously, is starting in goal. In central defence, we've got Viti alongside Tomori because Kalulu is still recovering from his twisted ankle, I believe it was. Yeah, twisted ankle that he was out for 3 weeks with, so he's on the bench. Luka Netz is at left back today because he had such a good performance against Juve in the last match. I thought I'd reward him with another start today. Theo Hernandez drops to the bench for that. Gravenberch and Lucas Gunnar-Dwath are our two defensive midfielders today. Ishmael Benessa is in dire need of a rest. I probably should have taken him off a bit earlier in the last game, but I didn't. So that is my fault that we have to play Gunnar-Dwath instead of Gravenberch. So you'll notice Gunnar-Dwath actually moves to the ball-winning midfield role, and then Gravenberch is playing as deep line playmaker. I don't know why I said that, because that's where Gravenberch was playing last game. That was the entire change that I made. Rooney Bargi continues at right wing. We've got Rafa Leao at left wing. Charles de Ketelaere continues at attacking centre midfield with Benjamin Šeško up front in his new role of attacking advanced forward on attack. You'll also notice that Zanoli at right back is playing as a full back on defend rather than a wing back on defend. That's his favoured role. I'm just trying things out. I think little tweaks were needed to sort of get us back into the rhythm of winning games again. So hopefully this is going to help. So just looking at Dortmund's side, actually, there's a couple of our former players playing for them. Noel Atiko and Keeley, of course, who we sold in the summer. He has been playing quite regularly for Dortmund this year, which is good to see for the youngster. He's playing today. Malik Thiaw as well, who obviously was with us on loan for the first season. He's playing there. And then they've obviously still got Giovanni Reina and Yusufa Makoko as well. An interesting name on the bench as well, Emmanuel Vignato. I wonder if that's any relation to Samuele Vignato. I couldn't see it on his profile, but maybe they're long lost cousins or something. First chance of the game, free kick from the right. Luka Netz to take it to the back post. It's headed away by Julian Brandt. Hopefully we're going to get the ball back. We do. Zanoli with a first time effort, and it's just wide from Zanoli. Was not expecting that. Corner kick as we pile the pressure on. Luka Netz from the left-hand side this time. Viti at the near post, and it's off the bar and over the top of the goal. We've started very, very well here against a very informed Dortmund side. And we've got another chance here. Another set piece. Netz to take to the back post to Viti once more. And that is headed just wide this time. Viti just seems to be a magnet for the ball in the air today. It's Moukoko to Reina. Possible chance for Dortmund now. Holmgren Pedersen running down the right-hand side. Gets the ball in. Moukoko's there. And against the run of play, Dortmund have opened the score, and Yusufa Moukoko with his 15th goal of the season. And it's completely against the run of play. There's not much that we could really do there. Missed header from Gravenberch. Malik Thiaw won it instead. Felt that Moukoko, he played the Reina. And then Holmgren Pedersen running down the right-hand side with the ball into the box. Moukoko with quite a simple finish, really. Rafa Leao turns Holmgren Pedersen, and now he's on a run. Rafa Leao, can he find a finish? Nearly, it's off the bar, and I think the goalkeeper's just going to get there. Corner kick once more. Luka Netz, one of these has got to go in, surely. Rafa Leao was at the near post, it's headed away. Reina heads it further instead of trying to bring it down to controller and passes possession back to us. Now Tomori on the ball. Ball towards Rooney. Rooney with a header, it's a looping header, and it's looping just over the bar again. We've had so many opportunities in this game, I don't know how we are one goal down. Throw in, deep in the Dortmund half. Zanoli in the box, looking for Gravenberch. It's a bit too far for him though, and Viti's going to collect this from the Dortmund clearance. Now Zanoli on the ball once more. Back to Viti. Viti with the ball looking for Rooney Bargi. It's going to come to Maatsen in defence instead. He hooks that clear to Brandt, but Brandt's header goes straight to Zanoli, and we can come on the attack once more. Zanoli inside. Adeyemi intercepting. Gunnar-Dwath a bit slow on the ball there, and Adeyemi can bring the ball forward for Dortmund, who are looking to get a second goal on the counter-attack. Holmgren Pedersen with it on the right-hand side again, cleared by Tomori, and now we can get on our own counter-attack with Charles de Ketelaere running forward. There's 5 Milan players up there. We've got a 4-on-3 if we do this right, and I think Šeško was offside there, but he fired it past the goal anyway. I don't think we've done too bad that half. I think we're very unlucky to be a goal down heading into half-time. We do have some players that aren't on great match ratings. Luka Netz is one of them at left back. Theo Hernandez is looking aggressive on the bench though, and we know how he likes to get sent off for a stupid lunge, so I might not make that change as Netz is looking motivated. Šeško, he's on a 6. I think I'm going to keep it the same for at least the first 10 minutes of the second half, because the only player that's on a poor rating and with a negative body language is Zanoli at right back, and I guess we could bring Kalulu on for him. Did we do that? I'm going to do that, actually. Pierre Kalulu is going to come on for Zanoli at right back. Gunnar-Dwath on the halfway line. Ball at the top wing for Šeško. Headed down to Rafa Leao. Rafa Leao now. Through ball to Šeško. Surely Šeško off the post. Off the outside of the post. Benjamin Šeško. He should have scored that. He really should have scored that. How are we not level? It's Rooney Bargy down the right-hand side. Can he create something now? Skipping past the defender. Looks inside, plays the ball across to Rafa Leao, and he's done it! Rafa Leao with his first goal of the season. He's been very out of form this season, but that could be a vital goal in our Champions League campaign. Excellent work from Rooney Bargy down the right-hand side. This was still going on from the Šeško chance where he hit the outside of the post, this highlight. Rooney Bargy just takes a second, looks inside, ball in, Rafa Leao with a header, and the keeper had no chance. 1-1. Brandt now for Dortmund, moving forward with it. Brandt with a shot, and that is well wide of the goal. A pretty poor finish in the end from Julian Brandt. Another corner. I keep wanting to take nets off, but I just can't get round to it. Šeško's there with a header, and Benjamin Šeško, what a header! What an assist from Luka Netz as well. That's going to improve his rating. I don't need to take him off anymore. Benjamin Šeško off the inside of the post. I always think a header looks a bit better when it's just powered and it hits off the woodwork and goes in, as that one has done. Goalkeeper with no chance for that, and Benjamin Šeško has turned this game on its head, and Jablanek are winning against Freiburg. That's arguably even better. Now Gravenberch with the ball forward to Kalulu. Can we extend our lead to 2? Kalulu plays that back to Gravenberch. Inside to the edge of the box to Gunnar Duath. Gunnar Duath's going to let it fly. It's off the bar, and then De Ketelaere couldn't get himself to time to control the ball there, and it was cleared by Dortmund. So we've got 5 minutes left. We've got a lot of players who are looking a bit tired out there now. So De Ketelaere looks the most tired, so we'll bring on Samuele Vignato for him. We will finally make that change of Luka Netz coming off. Theo Hernandez will come on for him. Rooney Bargy coming off for Hudson Odoi. We'll take Gravenberch off for Wilgo Marchage as well. Now the changes haven't come into force yet, but Rafa Leao finds a wonderful pass to Benjamin Šeško. Can he get his second of the game? He tries to round the keeper, and then that finish is just not good enough. And it looks like Dortmund are also making a triple substitution as well here, as they're doing one last throw of the dice to try and get an equaliser in this game. But they've not managed it. We've won somehow from a goal down. We've won 2-1 against Dortmund, and this is exactly what we needed for our Champions League campaign. So let's take a look at how the other games finished. So Ajax beat Benfica 3-1. Liverpool beat Barcelona at the Nou Camp by 2-1. Chelsea defeated by Paris Saint-Germain by 3-2. Arsenal absolutely battered Red Star Belgrade. Jablanek picking up a win, which could be their first win of this Champions League stage. We'll have a look at that in a second, against Freiburg. Juve beating Atletico by 2-0. Napoli drawing with Villarreal. Rangers managing a draw against Porto. Man City only managing a draw against Red Bull Leipzig. Real Madrid beat Bayern by 1-0, and Wolves continued their excellent form in the Champions League by beating Olympiacos by 3-0. Let's take a look at what that means for the league table. So currently in the top 8 positions, we've got PSG still unbeaten, then Juve, Marseille, Porto, Real Madrid, Ajax, Monaco and Arsenal. The Wolves are up there, they're in 10th. We are now up to 14th, only 1 point off the top 8 places, which are those all-important top 8 places. That mean you don't have to play the extra knockout round game in the new year. Looking outside of the top 24, we've got Napoli, Barcelona and Atlanta still struggling there. How are Jablanek? Was it Jablanek's first win? It was. Not their first point though. They managed to draw against Red Star Belgrade. So Jablanek are in 29th, which is pretty decent for them. Looking in the top 24 for teams you might not expect to be there, we've got teams like Rennes, obviously Wolves I've already mentioned, Shakhtar, Olympiacos, Young Boys, all in there at the moment. But 3 games left, could all change. So we played our 3 games off camera, the first of which was against Monza. We managed to get a 1-0 victory in this one. Charles de Ketelaere with the one and only goal of the game. I did think one of our youngsters, Narudny, had come off the bench to make it 2-0 in second half injury time, but it turned out he was offside. So just the 1-goal win for us against Monza. We then faced the Napoli side, who were top of the table heading into this game, and we had to rest a few players. Tomori, Bargy and Lazetic were all a bit tired for this one. We had a case where there was 3 games in the space of a week, so needed to rest players for this game because this was the middle game. We fell to a goal down on the 6th minute, thanks to Zambo, what's the rest of his name? Anguissa. Thanks to Zambo Anguissa, an assist from Kvaratskhelia on the 6th minute for Napoli. It looked like we'd equalised thanks to Charles de Ketelaere on the 34th minute, but that one was disallowed for offside. Sesko then did equalise for us with a header from the edge of the box on the 52nd minute, but an absolute firecracker from Raum on the 81st minute gave Napoli all 3 points. But then our most recent game was against struggling Fiorentina. I believe they were 19th in the table heading into this game, and we put them to the sword, really. Thiago Gouveia opening the scoring on the 41st minute. Lazetic doubled the lead on the 76th minute, then got his second of the game just a minute later to make it 3-0. Rooney Bargi got our fourth in the 82nd minute, and then we were awarded a penalty in injury time in the second half, and Marco Lazetic stepped up to claim his hat-trick and confirm a 5-0 victory at home to Fiorentina. And that leaves the Serie A table looking like this. So we are currently 5th in the table. We are 10 points off top of the table. Napoli didn't help losing against them. Obviously that is never really going to help. We are 2 points off 4th place Inter though, so still in with a shout of Champions League football and still really in with a shout of the title. I mean, there's only 14 games gone, still another 24 games to go in the season. Is that the right maths? 24? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. But obviously now it's time to face our next challenge in the Champions League, and that comes in the form of German side RB Leipzig. And we played Dortmund previously in this episode, and they were top of the Bundesliga heading into our game against them. And now RB Leipzig are top of the Bundesliga heading into our game against them. They have 2 successive 2-0 victories against Bayer Leverkusen and Hertha Berlin in their back pocket. And so far in the Champions League campaign for them, they have beaten Hapoel Beersheva by 5-0. They've lost 1-0 to both Porto and Arsenal, beaten Rangers by 2-1, and got a big draw, a 2-2 draw against Man City. But they are currently below us in the table. They are 20th, we are 14th. A victory today could, depending on how results elsewhere go, lift us all the way up to, I was going to say up to 2nd, but it's not really likely that we're going to improve our goal difference by enough for that. Possibly up to 3rd, above Marseille. Looking elsewhere in the Champions League in this game week, we've got a few big games. Ajax against Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid against PSG, Dortmund, Chelsea. Jablonec are at home to Sporting. Maybe they can get a result there. Juve are playing Arsenal. Napoli, Barcelona, another big one. And Porto Bayern is relatively big as well. So quite a few big games in this game week. We'll see if PSG can continue their run as the only unbeaten side in the Champions League, but they've got a tough game away from home against Atletico Madrid. But of course, we'll focus as always on ourselves. We're at home in this game, which obviously gives us the advantage, and hopefully we can take advantage of that advantage. So we're just making the 2 changes from our previous league match against Fiorentina. So we've got Mike Mignon remaining in goal, Zanoli is at right back, Kalulu alongside a returning Fikayo Tomori in central defence, Theo Hernandez on the left, Ryan Gravenberch alongside a returning Ishmael Benessa in defensive midfield, Rooney Bargi on the right wing, Thiago Gouveia on the left wing, Samuel Vignato at attacking centre midfield with Marco Lazetic up front. On the bench, of course, we do have Hudson-Odoi, Tiketelea, Rafa Leao and Benjamin Šeško. A lot of attacking reinforcements, as well as Mattia Vitti, who's been doing quite well in place of Fikayo Tomori at central defence, as well as him being in place of Pierre Kalulu when he was injured too. Free kick early on, Rooney Bargi to take it. He has an effort on goal and that's pulled wide. It's Benessa now, one touch pass to Vignato. Vignato with a through ball for Rooney Bargi. Rooney Bargi advancing in on goal now. Rooney Bargi, surely it's an open goal. Rooney Bargi, it's deflected, but it's still gone in. And Bargi has got us off to the perfect start after just 16 minutes gone. His 7th goal of the season, I think that said there. An excellent through ball to him, and then he just had to finish the chance, really. Vignato with the chipped through ball takes out 4 defenders with that pass, and then Rooney Bargi with a bit of luck there, getting a deflection off the defender, but it still managed to go into the back of the net, and we lead against Leipzig by 1-0. And you can see as things stand, that pushes us up into that all-important top 8 of the Champions League. Another free kick now, Benessa to whip this in. He heads it towards the back post, towards Kalulu, but it's headed away. Gravenberch, is he going to get there first? He is, just about. Gravenberch takes that past the defender. Gravenberch now on a run. Vardiol with a great challenge, and Zaniolo's now got it for Leipzig. But he's dispossessed very high up the pitch. It's Gouveia now on the ball. Through ball to Rooney Bargi. Can he get his second? He's pulled that one wide. Definitely should have scored there, Rooney Bargi. Should have at least hit the target from that distance. It's Gravenberch. As I've just been reminded that Datru Fofana actually plays for Leipzig and he's playing today, but Vignato is through on goal. It's Sami Vignato, and there's the second. Vignato with his 7th goal of the season as well. We're in 7th heaven, or at least Rooney Bargi and Sami Vignato are getting their 7th goals of the season, 2-0 at the San Siro. Dacio Fofana, of course, is who I was talking about previously. He is a former Milan player. We sold him, I believe, last summer to Leipzig. And yeah, he's not going to be too happy with this scoreline as it is. Vignato, excellent finish. And hopefully, we aren't going to throw this lead away. It's Gravenberch. Nice chip ball down the right wing to Rooney Bargi. Can he turn creator this time? It's Rooney Bargi right down by the byline. Comes back on himself. Plays a ball across. It's blocked. And it's headed away by Zaniolo. And now Leipzig could get on a counter-attack now with Ricci. But Theo with some great tracking back there. The left back to win the ball in their half. Now he plays that ball forward to Gouveia. Gouveia with a bit of time here. Plays it inside to Gravenberch on the edge of the box. It's Gravenberch. He's in the box now. It's a good tackle from Xaver. But that's cleared only to Rooney Bargi. Now Gravenberch on the edge of the box once more. Can he create something? It's Rooney Bargi. He is not fouled. Olmo wins the ball there. And that is played back to the keeper. But he's made a mistake in Vignato. Oh, what a save. The goalkeeper redeeming himself within seconds of making an awful error there where he passed the ball out to Vignato. Vignato with a first-time volley, but the goalkeeper managing to get back in time to make the save. So we reach half-time 2-0 up. It's been pretty comfortable so far. Hopefully that continues into the second half. It's Vignato. This is a highlight straight from second half kickoff. Lazetic now through on goal. It's Marco Lazetic and he's pulled it wide. I thought that was just nestling into the bottom corner of the goal, but instead it goes wide of the far post. Corner kick, Benesa to take it. Fires that towards the back post. Lazetic is there with a header and it's just off the top of the net. Corner for Leipzig this time. It's Olmo. Ball at the back post. Shimikan's there and Shimikan wins the header and I think that hit the bar and it's gone out for a goal kick. We've been a bit fortunate there. We've got a few players that are looking a bit tired out there. We've got a 2-goal lead, 20 odd minutes to go. Hopefully, touch wood, this isn't going to cause any trouble for us. So Lucas Guanaduath is going to come on for Ishmael Benesa. I mean, I can't afford to bring on our entire change of a front four really in this one. I think Lazetic is fine from a condition perspective. I'd quite like to keep Vignato on just because he's been a bit of a danger. And Bargi's been a bit of a danger as well, though. So we'll take Gouveia off. We'll bring Rafa Leao on for him at left wing. We'll take Theo Hernandez off and bring on Luca Netz because he's a decent replacement for him. I think we'll just do those 3 changes for the time being. I am going to keep an eye on Rooney Bargi, though, from a fitness perspective. We might have to bring on Callum Hudson-Odoi. Same with Vignato. So with 9 minutes to go, just about, we're going to do that double change. We're going to take Bargi off. We'll bring on Callum Hudson-Odoi for him and then Vignato making way for Charles de Ketelaere in attacking centre midfield. Hopefully we don't get an injury to anyone because then, of course, we will be down to 10 men and be fighting in the final few minutes of the game. Simakan, that's a bad touch from him. Rafa Leao pounces on that. Now Lazetic with a through ball to Rafa Leao. It's a counter-attacking opportunity for us now. De Ketelaere is through on goal, tries a pass. He's got the ball back, plays the cross. Hudson-Odoi, it's 3-0. And the three of the 5 substitutions that we've made in this second half have just combined there to possibly give us a 3-goal lead. It's going to be checked by VAR, but I'm hopeful that it's going to count. And indeed it does. It's a 3-0 lead at home to Leipzig, and things are suddenly looking a lot better in the Champions League. De Ketelaere there tried the pass originally, was blocked, it fell back at his feet, he played it again, this time found Hudson-Odoi, who placed that neatly into the back of the net and has confirmed a lovely 3-goal victory for us over the current leaders of the Bundesliga, RB Leipzig. So let's see what happened elsewhere in the Champions League. So Real Madrid beating Ajax. PSG continuing their unbeaten run by beating Atletico Madrid by 2-1. Liverpool beating Benfica. Shakhtar smashing Red Star. Dortmund and Chelsea playing out a 5-goal thriller with Chelsea coming out the victors in the end 3-2. Freiburg beating Red Bull Salzburg 3-0. Rangers smashing Hapoel Beersheva, who seemed to be a bit of a whipping boy in this season's Champions League. Jablonec getting a point at home to Sporting. Great result for them. Juve beating Arsenal. Marseille beating Malmo by 3-1. Barcelona with an away win over Napoli. That's a bit of a surprising one. Dembele with a late goal for them. Atalanta beating Olympiacos by 3-1. Porto with a surprise victory over Bayern by 3-1. Monaco beating Betis by 2-0. Villarreal with a shock win over Man City. Wolves just continuing to shock. I mean, it's not a shock result against Rennes. They're probably pretty even match sides, if not Wolves being the better side. But their position, which we'll get to in a second, Wolves are just playing amazingly so far this season. 5-1 their win over Rennes, and then Antwerp beating Young Boys by 2-1. So, speaking of, where that leaves everyone in the league table, you can see that we have climbed. We're not yet in the top 8, but we're level on points with Villarreal, who are in the top 8. So we're getting there with 2 games to go. PSG, as I said, I think they're pretty much confirmed as qualified. Not currently got the qualified sign next to them because they can still be overtaken on goal difference, but they would have to lose both their games by a significant amount, I would suggest, to not be able to qualify. The rest of the top 8, though, we've got Juve, Marseille on 15 points, Porto on 14 points, then we've got Wolves, Real Madrid and Monaco all on 13 points, and then Villarreal level, as I said, on 12 points with us. So theoretically, we can still get up into, well, easily up into the top 8. We've got our 2 easiest games on paper as well coming up against Rennes and I believe Red Star Belgrade. So there's no reason why we can't qualify in that top 8. Looking outside of the top 24 for any shock teams out there, we've got Napoli, who are really struggling. They're 29th in the league stage. They've only won 1 game in this Champions League campaign so far, drawing 2 and losing 3. So they really need to get their act together in these last 2 games to have a chance. Jablonec, 27th on 5 points. They are only 2 points off Atlanta, who occupy the final qualification spot. So you never know, there might be a chance that Jablonec get in there. We'll keep an eye on them as always. So looking ahead to the next episode, we will play our final 2 Champions League phase games against Rennes and Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda. I always call them Red Star. I think that's their English name. I don't think they've changed their name to this. I don't know. Digging a hole for myself here. Off camera, we will play the games against Empoli, Udinese, Roma, Salernitana and Regina in Serie A, as well as the Coca-Cola Super Cup final against Inter. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Isn't it the PS5 Super Cup final? I think my latest name fix thing might have got that wrong. But let me know if you're a follower of Italian football, specifically the Super Cup. Is it the PS5 that sponsors it, or Coca-Cola? It's really important stuff. And then in between the 2 games in the next episode, off camera, I'll play the 3rd round Coppa Italia game against either Frosinone or Spezia, and the league game against Torino. But that is it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get all my content when it comes out, hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I'll see you next time.